Now I have tonight Wendy Tolley, the mother who lost her son to opioids. It's already hit me. I can't even look at you, and I'm so sorry about that. Wendy, you currently now are in the part of PACA, helping
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Give us a little introduction about Wendy Tolley and who you are and where you come from.
Oh, goodness. Wendy Tolley is just another human on this earth,
Absolutely.
with a lot of life experience, good, bad, indifferent. I came from Freetown. That's actually where I grew up, and I fell in love with the city of New Bedford at a very young age, and I just have never left, really,
Yeah.
And I mean, I do have to point out that I'm also in long-term recovery. And
How long you been clean for?
6 years, coming up on 6 years. I had 7 years, and through pain medication,
Yeah.
I had relapsed, and for a short time, but I got right back into treatment, and right
Awesome.
back to life. So, but yeah, I've been involved with PACA since the first time recovery was introduced to me, in the year 2000.
Yeah.
So I have been at PACA for approximately 17 years, give or take, a few time offs.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's home to me, It's comfortable. It's kind of like, when you know you're somewhere you're exactly supposed to be, kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, I just go out and go about my day, I'm a pretty quiet person,
What do you do over at PACA now?
I'm the lead case manager for the housing program. It's a permanent supportive housing program that PACA's had for many, many years.
You got some new fresh blood in there.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
He'll be on the 30th. Jamie Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about Jamie. I know you had nothing but good stuff on the phone the other day when we talked.
It was a difficult transition for me, because I had never met him.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting story. Short,
Take your time.
I,
The mic's yours.
About a year ago, August 31st, actually, 2016, I had gone to, that's the overdose awareness, I think it's International Overdose Awareness, and as part of PACA, we get involved in all those things, and, we volunteer our time, we do things, and we become a part of whatever the community has to offer. And at that time, I had actually been looking for my son. David had always stayed very close to me over the last 4 years since he's been back in Massachusetts. And I'm trying not to cry. It's very, very hard.
Do what you have to do. I'm sorry that... First, thank you. I know it's difficult, and take as much time as you need, and if you feel uncomfortable, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not about being uncomfortable. It's about conveying feelings that I know that I'm not alone with,
Yeah.
But anyways, and I went to that event, and there were speakers, and they introduced this speaker, and I was like, okay. And I had been looking for my son for about a week. He always kept in touch with me, daily, whether he come by PACA or he would call me, text me, let me know he was okay. And I hadn't heard from him, and I was starting to get a little nervous, and it felt different nervous. I can't really explain it. And I was sitting in the church, in the Pilgrim Church that evening, and this gentleman walked up there, and he started to speak. And I remember his face, but I remember not really tuning into what he had to say.
You had other stuff on your mind.
Well, actually, at that moment was when I realized that I probably was never going to see my son again. It just was like this overwhelming feeling. And I did kind of like I'm doing now, and the night went on, my life went on, And the very next day was the day that we got, I have one right here.
Oh, okay. You're
Prepared.
good.
And the next day was the day that I got the call from the young lady that he was sharing an apartment with at the time. And so it was kind of tied in together, you know, but I didn't know it then. But I knew it. Davey was a very big part of PACA. He spent a lot of time there. He was there daily. He would help people even though he was homeless and struggling on his own. He would push people forward to recovery. Like, hey, you know, I might not have it, but you know what, just keep doing what you're doing.
He had some positivity about him, even though he was down and out sometimes.
Yeah, he was, I like to say he had an old soul, you know?
Yeah.
And very kind, very humble, and always looked for the positive, and never wanted to allow me as his mom to know how much pain he was in. And so, you know, I stayed at Packer, and then I transitioned out of there. We had his memorial there because it was a big, it's had a big influence in my whole family's life. I mean, Packer was a big part of the reason why they all got their mother back, you know. And sorry.
Nothing to be sorry about, man.
So I had left Packer for a little while. I don't know if it was I needed to just break away.
This is
because
after
of-
your son.
Yeah, and I stayed there, and everybody was so good, and you know, I'm kind of the type of person is I got a game face because I just want to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because it's very easily for people who, you know, with substance abuse disorder, disease of addiction, or whatever you want to call it, to slip back, you know, and I wasn't going to allow that to get in my way. You know, I wasn't going to allow that.
If there was ever a door open for relapse, that was it at that moment.
Yeah, like that was a ticket, you know,
Yeah.
in that world. It would be, oh, well, people would probably understand, or people would probably expect it, you know.
And you're just trying to kill your feelings.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I can. Well, no, I'm stubborn all the time, and I was like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. Not something noble like, oh, it's not gonna solve anything. I just was being stubborn, and I was like, no. There's a reason for me still being here with, you know, with the damage that I had done through my substance use. And as a mom, and I've said this numerous times, you know, I question because of all of the trauma that I did cause and the pain and damage I've done to the city, you know, just by being part of that problem, you know. Why him? Like, why not me? You know, and I play that tape all the time, you know. And when I decided to go back to PACA back in June, Carl House had said, well, you know, we have a new director, you know, things are fresh, and I'm like, I understand that, you know. He said, well, I'd really, you know, I want to talk to him, and I'd like him to meet with you. And I said, well, of course, you know, he's going to be the director of adult services. So I waited in a room, and this man walked in, and I was very nervous because I had been there for so many years. You know, I didn't know what to expect. And this man sat down across from me, and I looked up, and it was Jamie Casey, the same man that was speaking that night. And like I knew that I was where I was supposed to be, you know.
Must have brought some serious emotions though when you saw that
Yeah.
face.
So like our first introduction was me doing this, you
Yeah.
know. It was kind of like, oh God, he's gonna think that I'm a mess, you know. And
No.
I'll tell you, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and nothing's by chance. So I know that he's supposed to be in my life at this point for some reason to help me through something. And the hope is I'll be able to like help him, and we can build
I
some
promise you
great
already are.
things, you know.
'Cause
Build some great things.
When
you
I
know?
called Jamie, instantly he said, I got something for you.
Mm.
And, you know, he
Yeah.
connected us.
He's connected
that's
a lot of people.
So that's,
Yeah.
it's you're starting tonight with me at least, you know what I mean? And never mind what you've done already since June. I don't even know how to get to this. Let me just read, John Sylvia says, I love you, Wendy. Carlos Braz, God bless you, Wendy. Another I love you, Wendy, from Nancy Rodericks. And Tyler Sylvia, very, very sorry for your loss. Each day when you're working at PACA, you see different faces, but they are your son, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you ever, like, play the mom card? Like, hey, you know what, man, I lost my son. Do you want to do that to your mom? Do you want to, you know?
No.
No.
Because you know what is I've learned, because I've been on that side, that it doesn't matter what you say to me. It won't matter. You know, I mean, I can plant a seed of recovery and you know, kind of lead by example by, you know, continuing to stay, you know, alcohol and drug free through everything, you know, like that no matter what, that it really, you know, it is possible that, you know, life does go on, you know, we are still here. And for me to do something else or to play that mom card, I think, I don't know, you know, I don't think that it would be fair, you know?
Jamie Casey chiming in.
Oh, boy.
He's a fan, I'm telling you. I love you, Wendy. She's definitely teaching me. And this is Jamie to his core. This is a man that is not only changing things and people and landscapes in this area, he's learning too while he's doing it, and he's not afraid to show that he's learning. She's an amazing human being. And that's like that sentence right there. There's days that I'm struggling, and I see a Jamie post, and I'm like, man, that was meant for me. Thank you, Jamie. And you know, and I told him that. He's like, it helps me out too. Don't worry about it, brother. Kim Medeiros Parker, I'm so sorry for your loss. Isaiah, tough subject, man, but you're gonna come through because you're a badass little co-host. What do you got for Miss Tolley?
Often people, they're good at hiding their addiction. What advice do you give parents who may be recognizing the warning signs of beginning like addiction of their own children?
Yeah, no, I understand. That's a great question, because I'm actually sitting here and I'm thinking about it from a parent's perspective, but I'm also remembering my
Your
skills,
experience,
yeah.
the skills that I had. And what happens is as a parent, we want to believe that it's not, you know, possible. We want to believe that we want that dream and that hope for our children, you know, especially someone who's in recovery, you know.
You've
that,
been in the depths of hell, and you don't want that for your
yeah,
child.
you know, like the hope is please do not follow that road. And when they do, I mean, let's put it this way. I'm gonna be like shoot right from the hip. Intuition.
You just know.
You know, if you have a gut feeling, not a suspicion, not a, you know, if you have a gut that something isn't right, then something isn't right. Whether it's substance abuse, mental health, maybe depression, serious depression, you know, that's tied into like suicide and hurting oneself. If there's a gut feeling, then follow that gut. Don't, you know, don't like harp on it, but you know, be more hypervigilant to your children. You know, I have another son that struggles with the same thing, and he's, you know, continues to struggle, and it's really hard because, you know, for both of them, you know, through all of this is as a woman in recovery, as another person in recovery, I should say, it's I know I'm powerless over them and what they're caught under. The terminology is starting to change to, I guess, to remove labels. So it used to be called the disease of addiction, and now we've moved towards substance abuse disorder. But whatever it is, it's like I know that I'm powerless over what they're doing.
You can't force the person to do what they're gonna
I
do.
can't fix them. I can't force them. And that's all we want to do as a parent. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as a mom, I reserve the right to feel like I failed. Not it deep and, self-centered, oh, my fault, that kind of a thing, but I reserve the right to carry some guilt and shame. I think that kind of helps me to stay on the right track, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. You gotta make it better now.
I saw your finger go up
What do you think, now, what would be the first step you would take as a parent? Just finding out. You definitely found out. What would be the first step you take?
I would probably reach out to, and get educated, more educated, and reach out to people that are in the field, maybe stop by someplace like PACA or wherever.
You can email me at Chris at New Bedford Guy, and I'll lead you in the right
email
direction.
Chris at New
Yeah, I
Bedford Guy,
promise you.
Just reach out, start asking questions, try and get a little bit more education and awareness to the community, and reach out that way, because I may not have what the person needs, but you may have it.
I don't have it. I have a good team that I've slowly built up through this show that I can say, hey
Yeah.
Kevin, hey Jamie, hey
It's-
Corey, I need your help. I need a bed, I need this or whatever, or I need you to just go pick this kid up right now.
And
They'll
it
do it,
takes it takes a village to do it. We're a village. The whole city of New Bedford is a village. I believe that, and it's so. It just feels so good that we're actually there's just so many agencies and public service that are getting on board with this.
This, unfortunately, it took an epidemic, and we're still behind. But we're gaining some traction. We're getting there, and the stigma is getting removed. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple, green, Muslim, Christian.
But
Opioids are gonna get you.
They are.
Someone you know.
they are.
Someone you know will be affected by it, and unfortunately, someone's son may pass from it. And someone's mother may suffer from watching that and dealing with it, and I don't want this to continue this way, and having guests like you and Kevin, and I got Jamie coming on. It's not by mistake. It's part of a plan to, hey, it happens. Let's deal with it. Let's not be embarrassed by it. Let's not hide it. I was at the gym the other day, and my friend John is dealing with some stuff, and I have my own friend who was dealing with some stuff, and then my friend's family and John's family, parts of their family are the type hey, just throw them in a damn facility and get them out of here. Dude, you're just gonna lock up your brother and just hide him because it's inconvenience to you? You just, what am I gonna do? Enable him? And John and I had this conversation, and he killed my gym time, but I love the kid, and it was, and we had a great conversation about man, this loyalty to your family. You owe your family the time to deal with them. It's not enabling them, dude. You're loving them. And actually, Adelia and I yesterday during our meeting, she said the word enable, and I'm like, man, you're not enabling loved ones. You're loving them. You have unconditional love, and if you don't, there's no loyalty, and then you have the character flaw, I feel, and you just got to be there for them. And like you said, you can't force people to get help.
No.
I'm not saying you feed their addiction, but I used to look at it this way, where I'd be like, man, you're just helping them out.
Mm.
Dude, if you love somebody, you want to see them at night.
Or
You don't want to not know where they are.
Yeah, you at
You don't
least
want them
want a phone
dying in a
call.
freaking cold alley
Yeah.
somewhere.
I mean, it's,
You know, it's just like, and then you got family members that just don't see this, and now it's enraged because I have someone that I love that's been affected by it, and I'm like, man, you just can't throw your brother out to the curb because it's inconveniencing to you and you're embarrassed by it. Like, that's bullshit. Like, you know, it happens. Help be part of the solution. Be there for them, and they're gonna get help. If you sooner or later they will get help. But don't be estranged from them, because you know what? At the end of the day, you're gonna feel guilty when it's too late and they're gone and you just gave up on them, man. You just can't give up on loved ones. Like, you just don't like put your dog down because he's not behaving correctly. You know what I mean? You don't do that to an animal. You're gonna do it to a brother, a sister, or a son. You know. So when people like Sai ask, "Oh, what do you do as a parent?" Just love your kid. Be there for them. And don't worry about like the idiot saying you're enabling them. They're gonna get help sooner or later. Like, you know, especially they know it's not right. Like, they know shooting dope is not right. That they shouldn't be doing it. Like, they know that. Like, it's not a news flash to them. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I shouldn't be doing it. Oh man, what am I doing? Let me get out of here.
This isn't such a bright idea.
Let me go get help.
You know?
Like, you know, and then it's just. But I used to be like that. I come from a corrections background. It's just like, yeah, take a boot in the ass and go in your cell. You can dry somebody out that way, but you didn't fix them.
No, and it's really hard, okay? Because it can be a revolving door. Like my other son, that's what he does. You know, that became comfortable. He became a little institution. He feels safe there, and that's what happens. Go to jail, come out, and it's just a vicious cycle. I sleep better at night knowing that son was incarcerated, because I knew that, you know, he was basically okay, you know. With David, you know, it gets to a point where, you know, you've got them and you're loving them and you're doing whatever you can, but if they're just not ready to accept it, and, you know, yes, they're robbing your home and you don't feel safe leaving them in your home, and you have other children that are being exposed, and you have to say, you know what, okay, I'm going to give you an option. You can either go to treatment but you have to go. You know, as a parent, I've had to do that to both my sons after being an unavailable mother for 7 years. And it's not easy to watch your child walk down the street with a garbage bag full of their clothes, because you're powerless over something so great. And David spent that winter of 2015, the really bad winter, homeless, you know, in a tent out behind Butler Park with a buddy of his. And
I mean, that's just to recall. It was like 4 feet of snow out at one point.
Yeah, and I would drive by. I always made sure he had his phone that way, and he always stayed connected. He always called, I'm good, I'm alive, I'm this, you know. And I'd go by there and I'd be like, listen, I can't bring you home. But do you want to go to the hospital? Do you want to go to the shelter? It's going to be like 20 below out. And him and his buddy would be like, no, we're good, Ma. I mean, his friend calls me Ma. I'm still close with him today, you know.
How's he doing?
His friend struggles, you know, in and out, because he feels he's, you know, sometimes we don't know, when we don't know what to do, we want to take responsibility for it, you know. Like I reserve the right, and but, you know, and that's his burden to carry, you know. He's a good kid, but when we're caught up, we're caught up. I mean, most anybody, I would say like 98% of the population that struggles with opioids or any type of substance, you know, we're good people. that something, something happened, doctors can give you, their kick on it, mental health can give you their kick on it, clinical psychologists can give you theirs. Me, it is what it is, it happened, if I put it in my body, there's this overwhelming thing, and so I try to arrest it. But I think the thing right now that bothers me is, okay, so yeah, we have this stigma, and now, okay, we got everybody on board, cool, but like the homeless piece is like everybody's got Narcan now, like we're trying to equip everybody, and I live in the south end of New Bedford, and I surround myself, I try and get involved in the, whatever the community's doing, the church council's doing, the city's doing, the homeless providers network is doing, and I have homeless right at the end of my street, I have the clubs right at the end of my street, and so there's people either passed out from alcohol, passed out from substances, and like 3 times in the last week, I've seen situations where somebody slumped over in a doorway and people are just like walking by.
Not even checking.
And they're like looking over their shoulder and they're like rolling their eyes, or they just laugh, or whatever it is that they do, their reaction. But like they don't stop. It's like we're becoming so desensitized to what's really going on, And I remember stopping, it was last weekend, and I said to these 2 women, hey, you think maybe it might be a good idea if you like maybe shook him and make sure he's okay? And, they said something derogatory and like, oh, he might just be nodded off from drugs or something, and they kept it moving. And I pulled over my car, and I called the local station and I said, hey, this blah, 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 this is going on, could you please check, And I think that's the part that's scaring me, because
It's just so every day it's part of life now, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, and I guess because it still affects me, it's a passion of mine, because I really believe in giving back to this community that I took from for a very long time. And through David, I guess, is the way that I'm doing, another way that I'm doing that, because I like to stay behind the scenes, I'm quiet, but
Well, you're not too quiet. You're
I'm
working
here
for a
now,
great
and there's a little
organization, and you're here
over.
now. And I mean, and you've provided a service tonight that I don't know if I could be brave enough to do. And
look,
gosh, staying clean after the guilt and after the loss, like those are like the top 2 triggers of relapse.
Mm-hmm.
And you continue to push through, and it's like, you should be
And
accommodated for it, and
I know
you
of
should
the
be
parents
praised for it.
that do the same thing, because you know what, it's, what's that gonna do? What's that going to,
No.
what's gonna be the end result of that is just more, I'm gonna have a son and a daughter that are, without a mother again, I'm gonna have a mother that, when I was out doing my thing was back in time when, there weren't cell phones, there wasn't
No one to
that-
check on you. And
Yeah, so you disappear for a year, and your mother's wondering, but
which is worse?
which is worse? I don't think one or the other is, because you're still a parent and you're still wondering where your child is and if they're okay and if you're gonna get that call, I just happen to be one of those.
I got the call.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're struggling, you need the extra push to get you your help. You hit that final straw. You hit that final road where you're just like, man, I got to do something. Do it for your mom, man. Don't make them be unselfish for a while. Get that help you need. And I know that you have no control over it. I've dealt with some addicts in my own life. I've loved. I still have friends that, are in recovery. Some people that struggle with it, and they suffer too, And we know you feel it, and we know you care. And it's not like you just like, fuck my mom, excuse my language, or, the hell with my brother. I know you feel that, but maybe tonight, reach out and get that help you need.
Come see me.
Go to Packer tomorrow morning. Go see Jamie. Go see Wendy. Email me.
Come see anybody.
I can't get you a bed personally, but I've gotten to know a few people, and they've done it for me already. I will reach out immediately upon reading that email, and I'll get you the help you need. I don't want... Man, if we help one person tonight, I'd be happy. If we help one mom tonight, getting that phone call, Mom, come bring me to rehab, come pick me up, bring me to the hospital. Tonight worked. Wendy's loss and her strength to come back and do what she's doing and continue the fight for others. Don't take that for granted. And I keep saying this, and I'm not talking down to anybody watching right now struggling.
I know.
Because I understand. It wasn't like your son was like, I don't care how my mom feels. That's not the case. He loved you, and you love him. But maybe they just need that little push, and hopefully you did that tonight for somebody. And I accommodate you for the strength. And here's the thing, folks. I called Jamie Casey, and I'm like, if anybody's going to find me this mom that's going to help me with this. And here came Wendy, and I got a phone call. And generally when guests call or message me, it's just like, hey, what's up, man? Let's do the show. Let's talk. Let's meet. Wendy's one of the first people I didn't meet face-to-face prior to the show for a reason. I struggle with moms. And personally right now, I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, you selfish little jerk, she lost her son. Who cares what you feel like? And I avoided it a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm not as strong as you.
Yeah, you are.
Nah.
Yeah.
And thank you. That's all. I really can't go any further than that. I hope you help somebody and through your loss. And I hope your son David helps somebody tonight through his loss of life. And tonight's going to make a difference someday. I promise you that. And
there are a few people that were in his network that, because I keep his Facebook page open, and he touched a lot of people, and there are people that message me, and they're like, because of this, I continue to do what I do, and
helps you.
this isn't about me, you know what I mean?
It's not about you, but I'm sure it helps, doesn't it?
You know what? Of course it does, because I like to be alone. I'm gonna just kind of wrap this up really quick, and I had kind of gone on the whole single woman daughter in college, coming back to build relationships and build relationships with all my kids wherever they were at, and and I was alone, and I was okay with that. My mother built me pretty country strong, so I know how to do all that stuff for myself. And
Yeah.
I was laying in bed one night, I'm like, yeah, okay, 2 dogs, I got this, I'm good, and I know, right, I have an incredible faith in God, and I've been so disconnected from that, and it's not because I'm angry with him, or why. I'm not going to question why, because it's done. But it's okay, so what is my purpose? What do I do?
You're serving it right now.
And yeah, and you know, he put somebody in my life to support me emotionally, and I wasn't expecting it, and it is really a big help. So if there's anybody, you know, that like feels alone, because I can be in a room full of people and isolate myself, you know.
Just because people are there doesn't mean you're not lonely.
Right, but it's just, if there's somebody that's reaching out and wants to support somebody who's lost somebody, just keep trying, you know, because we may put up a wall and act like everything's good, you know. Those that know me, I'm pretty, I'm gonna use a Jamie Casey word here, but I'm very transparent. I'm transparent to a fault, you know. So
I've been called that, but I'd rather be called that than other things, you know.
I've been
At least you know where I'm coming from.
actually, a woman today, a mother who was trying to help her daughter, said to me, "Oh, I like you. You're kind of like an SOS pad." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And she said, "You know, tough, like abrasive, you know, that kind of thing." And I'm like, "Wow, that keeps coming up. I got to bring out the softer side, you know."
Don't do it. Just do you. You're doing all right. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Is there? I don't want to poke at you anymore because I've been a couple times I've almost lost it here, and I'm not gonna.
You're not poking at me, you know.
I'm not gonna do it.
I don't.
How do you want?
I don't talk about it, you know. It's not something I talk about because I have a job to do. Like, I'm still here because I have a job to do. Don't know what it is exactly, so every day I get up and I go where I know I'm supposed to go, and I make the most of it. I make the most of every day. Because my grandchildren are never going to see their father. And my mother is never going to see her grandson. So it's my job to at least be available, you know, if someone needs it.
You've been called the velvet-covered brick. I'm sure you know who that was.
I can't stand him.
Jamie's perfect. Can't wait to have him on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Wendy.
No, thank you.
Anytime you want to come back on, anything you want to push, promote.
Yeah, text me.
No, I'm
I'll
asking
probably
you.
be
You
at-
call me.
I'll probably
You
be
got
at
my
Market
number
Basket.
too. Yes. Market Basket. That's a whole problem in its own.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm gonna get when I go
You
there.
actually like helped me get through that, you know?
Yeah, I
Bob.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the strength you've shown. And I'm sorry for your loss. And I know if you ever, I know you're still not done mourning. I can see that, and I don't think it goes away. So if you ever want to talk about it, come on, talk about it, or just yell at me, scream at me, whatever it takes to make you feel better about it that time. Feel free.
Thanks.
You deserve that.
That's
And then
great.
Jamie will take some beatings from you too. He'll take a whack by the velvet covered brick. Saya, anything else, buddy?
It was a blessing meeting you today.
You are just something else. Can I put you in my pocket?
He's a heavyweight.
I don't think I
better
fit.
have
I
a
got
big
pockets.
pocket.
It's okay. I'm pretty strong.
You're really strong. My aunt from New York, her son passed away in 1999, I think, and even
Through
hearing-
drugs?
through a murder, but
Yeah.
even hearing his name, she still cries. So for you to talk about it on the show and hold it in, and you've been fighting this whole time, even right now. So I'm glad I got to meet you today, and I'm sure you helped some people.
Yeah, that's the hope, you know?
Thank you.
That's the hope. No, thank you.
This kid's gonna take over my show.
He is.
Listen, don't
He
enable
really
him, all right?
is.
I'm gonna use the word. I believe in enabling children when
You
it
know
comes
my
to bad
name,
behavior.
right? Private message. We'll work something out, all right? I got you, okay?
You're gonna be happy to hear this. John Silver, he needed this today. And for those who understand, know that that's a good thing. John, thank you. You just made it worth it for her.
Yes.
Wendy, thank you.
Go ahead. Let loose.
I gotta promote shows and do ads here, and I can't even breathe. Great show tonight, guys. We had two solid guests. Adelia broke out of her comfort zone to discuss anxiety.
She was amazing.
She, when I tell you, when I met her yesterday, she couldn't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how rough she had it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I said, man, this is serious. And then she came on live, and then I come up with this brainstorm because I think I'm the superhero nowadays. I'm going to start solving world issues. And I said, let me just start this new campaign to help people not feel, bad about having mental illness at all and come out and just feel comfortable with it and get the help they need. Adelia, why don't you be the first person to come out and throw your face on a billboard?
Yeah.
Sure, and I'm like, and then I have a mom come out that lost her child and just help others and continue to help others when she still needs help.
And right, is when she was talking about it, and I was listening to her, since this happened, about 5 months afterwards, I started like I ended up, we figured it out, that I was having panic attacks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I was listening to her and I was like, oh, you are so not alone. Like, I have them. Like, I've had to.
I have loved ones who have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that, and it is scary.
It is scary. When she described it to me, it's like, I can imagine doing that.
It's
She
paralyzing.
crashed her car with her kids in the car because of it. I mean, when she said that, I'm like, wow, this is real. And I never realized it, and I never noticed noticed how powerful it could be, Guys, you got some questions. You missed part of the show. At the end of the show, you can start it back up and start from the beginning. Throughout the week, we cut it up, and then within a few days, it's up on YouTube and on the website. Tonight's show was very important for a lot of reasons, and we broke ground on some issues, and we're going to continue. Next week, there's no show next week. I'm going to miss you guys, but I am going to enjoy my Thursday off with my family, and my wife is going to enjoy 8:30 when my kids turn into gremlins, with me there to help her out. Because I've been there without her, and it's not fun. Those little suckers get you. I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And boy,
Look at this look.
I know.
Okay.
I told you I cut my son's chin, and we got pictures on wrestling with him, and we got pictures Saturday. So Colton Simmons, if you're out there, hope your Photoshop skills are working. Thank you, New Bedford Guide. Also, before I forget, we have a new show starting on Wednesday at 6 p.m. New Bedford Guide is diversifying its programming. You're not only going to have the boring, shiny-headed Chris Resendes show weekly. On Wednesdays, you will now have the LGBTQ View. It's hosted by the South Coast LGBTQ Network. It's 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. They'll be discussing topics ranging from homelessness in the community to mental health in the community and abuse. I was schooled on the domestic violence shows about, because I just kind of forced the male on female issue.
Yeah.
And they're going to discuss the male on male, the woman on woman, and issues like that, as well as parenting. Some interesting topics will be discussed on that show. For our diverse programming on New Bedford Guide, we'll be doing other shows as well. I think we're doing some finance shows as well. So that's going to be the second weekly show on. Should be interesting. It'll definitely be different from my show. Mike is really trying to change this New Bedford Guide into a resource, one-stop shop for all types of information. It's not just your standard times, grab the newspaper and get your, we're trying to do things and actually make a real impact on the community. And this new show is going to be part of taking away and bringing out a community that's kind of put aside, just like the people with panic attacks, just like the people with addiction. It's all tied in.
Yeah.
And it'll help shed light to some topics that people aren't familiar with. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll be tuning in and I'll be learning. I'm accepting, but I'm unfamiliar with that community. So we'll learn some stuff, and I'm sure the community will as well. Make sure to stop by our sponsors, Greasy Luck and Me and Toho, and especially Me and Toho. Get there and support the restaurant, as he's supporting families that are coming from the devastated island of Puerto Rico. Also, Edwin Cartagena on the 16th of December will be doing Gifts to Give. Christian Farland and I have decided we are going to back that up. We are going to start a toy drive for the kids that came from Puerto Rico. I will have details on that. I'll probably go live and post some stuff on the Bedford Guide here next week as soon as we get the logistics figured out on donation spots. But I believe there are 73 children in New Bedford from Puerto Rico that were affected by the hurricanes, and we are going to give them a good Christmas. I promise you that. We're going to work hard at it. And email me also if you want to get involved in the term limit signature campaign for to get it on the ballot next year. I think that's a very important step in keeping our government fresh and accountable. Guys, if I don't talk to you, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Mikey Mohawk Tavares, you're doing a great job with the turkey drive. I owe you a meal for family. Hit me up. And anybody interested in helping Mikey, it's a grassroots as you get operation. He is providing Thanksgiving dinner for a lot of families in need. Email me, message New Bedford Guide, and I will get you his contact information. I mean, this is like as grassroots as possible. It's a kid in his trunk of his car, driving around, collecting donations from friends,
Jamie was talking about him.
and just
Yep.
dropping them off at homes. It doesn't get as grassroots as that. Isaiah and I, Isaiah's first job with me here. He doesn't know it yet, but Isaiah's providing his mom with Thanksgiving dinner this year. He'll be buying his family from his hard work at the show.
Thank you.
Wow.
Some Thanksgiving this year. You're gonna step up as the man of the house, homie.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're earning it. I get a lot of views from you, as you put it.
The most use for me.
Thank you, everybody. South Coast area, New Bedford Guide followers, we appreciate you and your continued support and viewership. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and be kind. Thank you.